you feeling stuck, lost, tired, or uninspired? We've all been there, including myself. I'm Coach Des, mindset motivator and lifestyle entrepreneur. I'm here to tell you that the best, unapologetic, and limitless version of yourself is yet to come. The Born Unbreakable podcast is here to inspire just that. With motivating guests from all different walks of life and around the world, their stories will empower you to unlock abundance and your unbreakable spirit. Do you need accountability? Reach out to me for a free consultation of how I can support you in reaching your maximum potential. This episode is brought to you by Korma Date Coffee, the healthy alternative to coffee. This delicious date coffee has the health benefits of giving you natural energy, antioxidants, vitamins, minerals, and fiber. Best of all, Korma is caffeine-free, no jitters, no anxiety, and no afternoon crash. Go to kormacafe.com, that's KORMACAFE.com, and enter discount code BORNUNBREAKABLE at checkout to get 10% off your order. Welcome to the Born Unbreakable podcast. I am so excited today to talk to Christina Ellis, who is my guest, and she is an amazing small business owner, which is actually a growing business, which we'll talk about. She's the CEO and co-founder of Lit Rituals. So I will put that information in the show notes because you have to check out her website. She's got the coolest candles and awesome things. I'm going to let her talk more about it. But Christina is obviously an entrepreneur. She is passionate about self-care and wellness. We're like kindred spirits because we have a couple of things in common. We're both from the Bay Area. So I just have to call that out, representing the Bay Area, Northern California. She's from the 707. I grew up in the 510. We're just like neighbors with each other. Mm-hmm. And she's also a dog lover. Which is amazing because I've always had dogs since I was little. I can't even imagine what life would be like if I didn't have them around me. But what kind of dogs do you have? You have two, right?
I have two dogs. Some people would say they're not dogs because they're small. One is a Maltese and one is kind of like a toy poodle. They're just messy little things.
They're so cute. Oh.
They're really sweet. I couldn't do anything without them. Do you have dogs now?
So so I've had dogs of my own, and then my mom lives with me. She's retired. That was like one of the big reasons for moving, to Las Vegas earlier this year. And she's got two little ones. So she has a fox terrier, and the face is so cute. Looks like a fox. I mean, that's why they're called fox terrier. And and his name's Radar because his ears are like bloop, 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 bloop.
So cute.
I mean, just so I can't, like, when you get mad at them for doing the, all the things that they're not supposed to be doing, I just look at the face and I'm like, I can't even stay mad.
This is terrible. Small dogs get away with so much.
I know. And he loves to be on your lap. Like, his joy is to just be on your lap. I mean, he could literally live there all day long. And then the other one is a Yorkie. His name is Stitch, and he is Sass. Like, I call him a grumpy old man because he just he lives his own life and on his own schedule. And you basically have
They kind of look like grumpy little men, don't they?
Yeah.
Yorkies.
Yeah, they're like so cute, but then they're kind of grumpy. And he definitely, it's like the way that it works with that one is like, if he was talking, he would be saying, "This is my world," and you're just living in it.
Oh, 100% mine too.
I just want you to know that. Like, if we're eating and we're like, okay, great, it's time to eat, he'll be like, whatever. And then as soon as we're done eating, he'll be like, okay, I'm ready to eat now. I mean, it's like, can you not just be a team player? Can you do that? It's ridiculous.
He's not a pack animal.
Like, what is going on? And he does this crazy thing. I don't know if your dogs have these little quirks, but like, if people leave, so like, people are visiting the house or something, when they're exiting, he stress eats. He, like,
Oh
does
my
not like people
gosh.
to leave. So he'll go straight to the bowl and just, like, start getting the little, food and just he'll
That is
start
so
eating and he'll look
cute.
up and be like, "Oh my gosh, like, what's happening? Why are people leaving?" And I've never seen a dog stress eat before, but he does
That
that.
is so cute. I've never seen that before. My dogs have quirks, but not that. That's so cute.
Like
Maybe I have that quirk. I stress eat when people leave.
like, I feel like humans do that all the time for all kinds of reasons, whatever reasons, but I've never seen an animal do it. So it's like I
I
feel
know.
sad for it, but I'm also highly intrigued by it. Like,
I know.
oh my gosh,
My,
it's happening again.
Maltese will howl and howl anytime the one, Empire carpet commercial comes on. It's like 800 588 2300. If even if I'm seeing
Empire.
that, his face he can come out of a dead sleep, his face will just perk right up. I really need to, like, film it and show people, but I feel so bad because he's howling like he's crying, but it'll knock him out of a dead sleep and he just howls, and I'm like, "What happened with
Is it
what
with this
happened to you when
commercial?
that commercial was playing?" Or, like, "What do you have against Empire carpet cleaning?"
No, and I love that. Every time that commercial
Yeah.
comes on, I'm, like, singing along with it.
Yeah.
Um,
I think
you
it's a
totally
TikTok
remember the phone
trend
number
now.
just because it's, like, so catchy.
Oh, yeah, they've nailed it on that.
They totally have nailed it. Oh my gosh. They've got that down. But yeah, so we just have such a natural connection because of the dogs and the Bay Area love.
No.
But I really love what you do. But let's start with your story. Tell me a little bit more about your personal story, so we can get to know you a little bit better.
Yeah. Well, like we've already covered, I grew up in the Bay Area. I think mostly, yeah, my story is so all over the place, and none of it has anything to do with what I'm doing now, really, kind of. Um, um, so I think since I was very young, always knew that I wanted to own my own business. In some capacity, a lot of my family members worked for themselves, and um, yeah, I just was drawn to kind of having my own business, but that never really happened for me. And I went to school for all different things: marketing, nursing. I was in school for nursing for a while, and it just was not my thing. And I just thought, yeah, if I don't love this, I probably shouldn't be the person doing it. And thank God for that. um, so yeah, I dropped out of nursing school and I kind of started working in sales and different kind of jobs that had kind of that offered autonomy and that you could make your own schedule. So in a way, I felt, like that entrepreneurial spirit in those jobs. Like you're probably familiar with some of the, sales startups jobs in Oakland. I kind of did that. I worked in cosmetics, Clinique, where I still say I learned like so much in Walnut Creek and Clinique. Um,
I
I
use
learned
their
so much.
toner and products.
Do
So
you?
shout
Oh
out
my
to
gosh.
Clinique.
What's
This
your
was
skin
not
type?
planned. Not
I
planned.
know this is
Just
like
saying.
they need any advertising.
I know exactly, right? Not like they're not like a small company that needs
I
our
know.
support like that, but just saying, if you really do want clean skin, I mean,
I
it works.
know.
It really does. Just saying.
It's good stuff, and if you wanna learn about business, I swear, work at a Macy's or Nordstrom cosmetics counter, you learn I still use what I learned there today, so, um, that I had jobs like that kind of fed that spirit and, um, like, when you work harder, you get rewarded, there's commission associated, competition, and so, um, I was always drawn to those kinds of environments. And then I started working for a startup in Oakland, and it like tripled, quadrupled intensity. Sales goals were insane. It was like a very high expectation environment. So salespeople are very resilient. Anyway, so I just thought, wow, I'm working so hard here, and it starts over every month. And, wouldn't it be amazing to have my own thing in addition to that? Or work this hard for myself and keep 100% of my commission. So that was kind of always swirling in my mind. I'd started a kind of a side hustle selling vintage clothing with my really good friend. Um, and we were kind of doing a side hustle, but as people know, that's a ton of work too. But it was super fulfilling to me, so I continued to do it. We were selling vintage clothing. We were also selling little items, kind of self-care items from different female-owned brands in the Bay Area. So it's kind of like a stoner vintage vibe e-commerce site. I had my sister actually went to yoga training with my current co-founder, Caitlin, and connected us, and we became best friends pretty quickly. Um, and she was doing her own herbal apothecary. So a lot of the products you see on our website are things we just absorbed from her business, All Elements Apothecary. And then a lot of them are also candles we made together. So we became best friends pretty quickly. And we were kind of doing businesses that really, there was a lot of crossover too. I was selling self-care items. She was making herbal body products and herbal smoking products and smudge products. And we moved in together. We started making candles as a hobby together just for our own use. We played around with wicks and wooden wicks. We were actually living in Humboldt at the time, Northern California. um, and it was like, it's very humid up there. So people who live in Humboldt know it's like almost a rite of passage to have mold in your house at some point. So at that time, I have asthma. And so at that time, it was like flared up because I was living in a house with mold in the walls. And anyway, so we moved around. We actually eventually got out of that moldy little house and moved into a really gorgeous house where we kind of created like rituals. Um, but it kind of came out of necessity. We love candles, we love burning things, but we need it to be healthy and natural. Our lungs were bouncing back from kind of like not the best living situation. Um, and so we just played around and we made a wood and wick candle. And so then Lit Rituals was born kind of naturally between us. And we were doing, like I said earlier, we had our own businesses as well. So we have side hustle on job. Um, so, anyways, we decided at the end of 2019, before we even knew what was about to hit us in September, that we would merge all three because we were stretching ourselves thin. Like, we were like, what if we just merged all three and we went full time? And we did that, and it was such the obvious decision. I mean, we like still to this day kick ourselves. Like, we really have, a year and some months under our belt where we have been full time and dedicated to one brand instead of stretching ourselves over three that are kind of similar and there's crossover. And but yeah, so it's a weird route to get where I am now, but when I look back, I learned so much, even in nursing school, even in random jobs that don't apply now. But so I didn't go to business school. I actually pretty much had no idea what I was doing, and probably still don't, but I'm figuring it out. So yeah, it's kind of a weird path, but here we are.
You know what? Weird is the new norm. Like,
It
I
is.
love it. I love
Yeah.
everything about it because resiliency and creativity and ingenuity, I think,
Hmm.
is some of the biggest thematic things that we've seen through this pandemic. Whatever you want to call this, a season. I mean, it's
Yeah.
not ending at the moment. It's kind of this perpetual thing at this
Hmm.
time. But I feel like people have gotten more bold, have just gotten
You're
more
right.
bold to be like, okay, let's just try
You're
something new.
right. It's a unique moment in time. I was actually just thinking about this morning. It's and I go back and forth. I think what you're saying is true, is that the world has almost taken a pause and reevaluated a lot of things where we didn't have time to reevaluate before. And I mean, even the luxury of, I say luxury, it's not always a luxury to people, but some people worked from home, but it gave them the freedom to think about their life and what they want to do with it. Um, and so I think you're right that there's this moment, and it intersects with like what we were talking about earlier, being able to, talk to anyone. I was talking to someone about blue lotus flowers in Sri Lanka this morning. I probably, that wouldn't have happened to me 10 years ago. So yeah, it's interesting that we see all different kinds of people for the first time doing amazing things. like moms who have a full-time job also running a business at home, and you see like this peek into normal people's lives. And it's amazing because I think when I grew up, I thought if you want to be a business owner or someone who has, something that's fulfilling and actually provides the money, you have to be a certain kind of person with a certain kind of knowledge and come from a certain area, um, or background or parents or whatever. But that is always and still is kind of a cloud that I feel. But I
Mhm.
think something that's incredible is to see the person you see every day doing really amazing things. I mean, there's this one lady I follow, and she's probably in her 50s. It's a new endeavor, and she's making these like really cute patchwork, kind of like decor pieces for your table. And it's just cool. I've seen her kind of at the beginning of the pandemic start slow as an Etsy shop and friends, and then I just saw this morning that she had a pallet of product delivered to her house, and I'm like, how cool is that? It's just really cool because I'm super passionate about small business, and it's exciting to see it in a way that I've never seen it, and I think so many people have not seen it the way that we're seeing it. And even if it's 40-second clips on TikTok or just following someone's journey on Instagram, it's cool. It feels very powerful. It empowers me. I think, okay, cool. We can all do this. You don't have to
Yeah.
be Mr. Blah 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 in a perfect suit coming out of Harvard.
Oh,
You just have
absolutely.
to have
I
resiliency.
think
You said
that
it.
we've the field, it's more of a level playing field for so many
Hmm.
reasons, and that's why I hope that anyone listening realizes that we have access and opportunities like we never have before. For one,
Hmm.
this thing called the internet is crazy. I mean, how many people this holiday season has gotten a majority of your gifts through Amazon or some service where it's getting delivered to you, so you don't have
Yeah.
to go into all the different stores and buy all the different things for all the people that you love. I mean, things
Yeah.
have changed massively. There's so many different ways of transacting now that you can
Yeah.
trust, because a lot of times it's like, well, I don't know about this online stuff. It's going to take my money. It's going to
Yeah.
steal my. I mean, I'm not saying that doesn't exist, but today there's like
Yeah.
safeguards, PayPal, and people are Venmoing and Cash Apping and doing,
Yeah.
Square. I mean, there's all kinds
Yeah.
of ways that we can do business online like we never have before. And I love actually what you said related to your story, which I actually think is makes it easier for people to connect with you because not everybody um would do the I'm going to Harvard route and I'm
Right.
doing, step 1, 2, 3, and I have an extra, $100,000 lying around to like go get this
Right.
education. Um, I'm an advocate for education. I think it's
Hmm.
great. I think there's so much you get out of it, but so much of education today can be accessed in other ways outside of an institution because we have so much
Totally.
available at our fingertips, which is, I think,
Yeah.
a plus, you know?
Yeah, which is also probably also contributes to this unique time of like booming. I see entrepreneurs everywhere, and I know our feeds are like, targeted towards us, but it's still an amazing thing. And like you said, we haven't had access to the things we have access. I mean, even something as simple as a merchant account, if it was 1998, what would and my mom wanted to start a side hustle, what would she do? She would have to go sit with some man to talk about card merchant services. Now you log on to Stripe, you give them some identifiers, you verify your business, and you're ready to go.
Right.
Of course, it's harder for what type of business, but it's available to us, which is incredible. And of course, education is so important, and I'm a huge advocate for it as well. But you're right; it's not education isn't just doesn't just happen at universities anymore. It like happens in our house. It happens on the job. Um, I truly mean it. It's funny, but I learned so much at doing makeup at a makeup counter. So there's there's a lot to be said for experience, on the job experience. And I know, I mean, I know myself. I've been in school um, on and off for my entire life, and academically, I am not. You would not if you sat with me and you looked at my grades and looked at how I do in a classroom setting, you would not hire me. I would not hire me. So if that's all I had to go based on. Um, but people learn in such different ways, and now we all have access to it, and so we can learn in our way, and we can be successful because we were able to do that. So, yeah.
That is awesome. I just love it. Your honesty, and that is the thing, because we have that self-talk too of like, oh
Mhm.
gosh, like am I gonna make it if I'm not the traditional way, if I don't do it the way
Yeah.
society says I should do it, because we're
Mhm.
all pressured by that. Whether it is spoken or unspoken. That's the thing, right?
Yeah.
There's
Oh,
either
yeah.
it's very aggressive because it comes from your parents or your immediate environment, or it's subtle and you still
Mhm.
feel crappy because like a
Yeah.
commercial or your friends or certain things around you are going like, oh well, you're supposed to do ABC first,
Totally.
and it's like, what?
Totally.
Right?
And I think even still less and less as I get older, and as I have experience with other business owners as well as our own business, is nobody actually even knows what they're doing. They didn't, no one, just because they have a a bachelor's degree in business marketing, things have changed. Everything has changed. So education is incredible, and you do learn a lot, but I think you learn so much more. I mean, I've talked to business owners, you learn so much more every day than you
Oh, when
learn
you're
in business
doing the
school. It
work.
gives you a
a hundred
foundation, but yeah, when
percent.
you do the work,
Like, does
it's a whole
anybody
'nother.
graduate college, go to the first day of their job, and is an expert in that industry?
No.
Like, full on confession, I did that. I went to college, I
Yeah,
got a degree, I started a consulting job at the eight like, a long ass time ago. I won't even try to
yeah.
tell you how old, like, because it feels like ancient years. But when I started, consulting, half the time I was freaking Googling what
Mhm.
was going on because
Right.
I was just thrown to the wolves and,
Yeah.
was around all these professionals in healthcare that spoke another language because
Yeah,
doctors and
which is so
nurses,
intimidating.
it's like, okay, and you're just kind of there and you go home and you're like, holy crap, I don't even know if I'm going to
Yeah,
survive this because this is crazy.
yeah. I seriously think, I mean, education's incredible, it sets you up, but I think you can go to business school and still not have what it takes, because I think having the information is one thing, but having the you said it earlier, it's so about resiliency and brain energy as well as physical energy. It takes which you cannot get that from a lecture or in class or even in a practical learning environment. You either have it or it's not for you. So that's something, not everyone is cut out to be a business owner, a small business owner at that, because it's a ton of work. And that I think the most important thing is that you're resilient and that like you said, like you started, but what you did know how to do is figure it out. And so someone who's resourceful, like I've heard that word my entire life, like be resourceful. But it really, when you sit with that word, it's like that is the key to success is I have no idea any of the answers until I find them out or learn them or figure them out or make mistakes, and it brings me there, or sit with people who are wiser than me and have had these mistakes. But yeah, I'm absolutely, I feel like I'm in business school right now, so the most important thing is being able to figure out what you don't know and acknowledge what you don't know and then figure it out. That's like,
Be
if you have
honest
that and if you have
with
energy,
yourself.
you are a perfect business owner. That's my opinion. If you can figure it out and you have the energy to back it up, you will be successful.
Oh my gosh, that is such sage advice because it's you're the learning doesn't stop.
Yeah,
You don't
it
wake up
never
and
does.
know everything, but you have to have the vulnerability and honesty to admit what you don't know and then seek it out,
Yeah,
like you said.
yeah, and either reroute or admit, okay, this was a mistake, so let's not do
My
that again
bad.
and figure out how to make it right. Yeah.
Yeah. Like when you started out, so going back to what you said, you had these three things that were going on with you and your good partner, your friend, and you finally streamlined. Because some of it, I think that's a big thing people can relate to is like there's a lot going on. There's not as much efficiency when you spread yourself too thin, and then you kind of bring it all together. Now your focus and your attention is more
Yeah.
directed in a productive way. When you did that, what are some of the first initial challenges that you had to work through to really get things, off the ground with your
Yeah.
singular brand?
Yeah, well, at that point, we had been doing everything on our own with a couple friends helping, but we didn't have really anything in place. We were just starting out. We had an idea. We had direct customers. We had a handful of local retailers that we had connected with at pop-ups and things like that. But we didn't under when I look back now, I think, okay, what I would have done differently is organize it bigger than I thought, what bigger than for a bigger company than I had at that moment, is we did all the work. We worked out of a shed in the backyard. We worked out of our kitchens. My uncle built us a little room off the side of my house, which was incredible. And like I said, I learned so much. Like that was my freshman year business school. Um, I'm only in my sophomore right now, so um, but what I may have done differently, although I wouldn't change it because I love the memories, but I would have planned for bigger because we worked so hard, we continued to grow and grow, and, we had some success on social media, and so I think what we did was we grew pretty fast and we, found some success, and we thought, "Well, we can do it. We've always been able to do it. Let's just do it." But, you have to sleep and, like, live your life. So I think what I would have done sooner is accepted more help and visualized what I thought we would be a year from now. And I'm still learning that. It's hard to you get into a comfort zone and you don't want to get out of it because also having a business is scary and having employees is scary um and sometimes you want to say, okay, we gotta we got to pinch every penny and do it ourselves and bootstrap everything. But the truth is like I'm not good at everything. Neither is my partner. We're good. We know what we're good at. We have to stay where we're good and accept help from other people and trust other people and um, you know, not try and do everything ourselves, I think is a huge lesson that I've learned. And now we are in a warehouse space. So we've actually moved out of all of our houses, our friends' living rooms. Oh, we were kind of all over the place for a while, but we've been in a warehouse space for a year now. And that allowed us because I thought outside the box and I said, okay, we actually do need more space. We didn't need 3,000 square feet the day that we got it, but now we need even more space because we had the area, so we filled the area and it helped us grow and it helped us bring more people in to help and which is helping us grow and it all kind of feeds itself back. So I think um, what I learned is to visualize not just now, but where you want the company to go and where you see it going.
That's incredible. Oh my God. That is everything you just said is so powerful because it
Oh,
is the true, such authentic, honest way of
aw.
building a small business. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
just the fact that there's growing pains, like it's normal. I mean, how
yeah,
many times has anybody sat down and watched Shark Tank and somebody's like, I was in my kitchen and I started knitting and I was, you know what I mean? It's like,
yeah,
yes, there was a shed, there was a kitchen, there
yeah,
was your living room, and there was you and maybe like your friend or your child or your
yeah,
partner or whatever, right? I mean,
right,
it,
yeah,
that is the foundation. Is just the fact that you have the drive, the determination, the passion to do something, and then you have to
yeah.
figure out the infrastructure. Like, okay,
Oh,
well,
yeah, it
I
rarely
don't.
ever looks pretty, or it rarely ever looks as great as it looks on Instagram or in, like, a TikTok video. It's a lot of late nights, but they're fun and they're super fulfilling, and I don't wake up thinking, "Why am I doing this?" I wake up thinking, "This is so fun." I get to hear from people who love it, and yeah, it's very fulfilling. I get to work with my best friends, my family, and people that have become like family to me because, you can't help but when you're building a small business, everyone does just become like a little family. So, yeah, I love what I do, but but it is not just sweet and pretty and like a great Instagram picture.
Glamorous.
It's rarely ever. It's very, if that is what it looks like, it's because we did a lot of planning
Right, yeah,
ahead of
yeah.
time.
Well, and it's so true, but, those are just kind of big lessons. It's like, have a vision that's bigger, even though it could be
Mhm.
scary.
Yeah,
Leverage talent because you can't do everything on your own, and you're best suited to stay in the lane of your genius zone,
yes,
right? And having
totally.
others who have their genius zones to do those things that you're not that good at doing. Be honest
Yeah,
with
and
ourselves.
that's hard to be honest with yourself about, because there is a part of me that thinks, "I know I can do it best." I think that comes with having an entrepreneurial spirit, is even I know that intellectually, I know that I cannot do everything best, but it is hard to say, someone else can do this just as good as you can, and let go of that control. It's just hard, but it
Oh,
is
letting
such an
go.
important part. It's such an important part. Because,
That's so
yeah, you
hard,
you could do a million things, but then what happens is what you do really well, you're too tired to even do what you do really well.
and that's not
And
good.
so, yeah, that's the a path that to easily fall in and say, "Oh, I know exactly how this should be done." It's like, yeah, you do, but someone else can do that too. So
Yeah.
that's a
We
struggle, but I think it gets easier and easier, because every time you do it, you realize, okay, everything's fine. It wasn't that important for you to be watching or be right there or do it yourself, because the only people that work for us are amazing people. So,
right.
if
Letting
you
go
if
is
you
letting
have
go is hard though, right? Like,
it is.
people
Yeah.
I know that so many of us can admit that we're control freaks, right?
Yeah.
Like, "Oh my gosh, I want my hands on everything." It's, if
Mhm.
I do it, I know it's gonna be right and blah, blah, you know?
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
sometimes you do also have to check your ego at the door of like,
Yeah. Oh,
"Okay,
yeah.
hold on, calm down.
Yeah.
You're not 12
Actually, they
people."
might do it better than you,
Yeah, I
actually.
know, and then
That's
then
also
then
what
you
I find
feel
out
really like,
sometimes.
"Dang it."
Yeah.
Until you're humbled and you're so grateful, like, "Thank goodness
Yeah.
somebody," like, and I feel I have those moments too where, "Man, that would have taken me 6 hours, and that took that person 30 minutes, and they did
Oh,
it
I
way
know, and then
better
you're
than I
like,
ever could have done it."
yeah, and you're like, "What else am I doing that with? Oh my god."
Right, like, this is,
Yeah.
like it's productivity lesson 101, right? Like,
Mhm.
what the heck? That's crazy. And then I
Totally.
love that you talked about, like, scalability. Like, there was the point
Mhm.
in time when you knew, "Okay, we're moving out of the shed, we're moving into a space, we're utilizing this
Mhm.
space," and then and there's going to be different points when we have to make decisions about, "Okay, now we need to grow again, or we need to do whatever." So I wanna ask you,
Yeah.
because I know you've got, over 107,000 followers on Instagram for Lit Rituals, and people obviously are excited and passionate about your stuff. How did you start building, like an online following and customer loyalty? People that are like
Yeah.
they were there from day one and they're still here, on day 100 something something, right?
Totally. We do. We have those people. I love them. I can still name a lot of them for you, actually. And I think the people that have been there from the beginning. I mean, you know how prideful we can be here in the Yay area. So we
Oh,
did
I
a lot.
know.
I mean, our first go at everything was just hustling on pop-ups every weekend in the Bay Area. So we do have like our solid Bay Area crew that is so supportive and has been there since, yeah, way before the 107,000 followers. Um, but I think honestly what we did, I wish there was more um, clear-cut formulaic answers, but I think we were at a time where Instagram was still it was a little bit friendlier to creators and makers, and didn't, who knows what's really going on with algorithms, whatever, or if engagement is changing. But I do think we were at a time where things were a little bit easier for businesses. Now I feel like it's a little bit harder, probably because Mr. Zuckerberg wants advertising dollars and whatever, but
Yeah,
um, he's hurting really bad, so he needs our money.
obviously. Yeah.
Um, um, anyways, so I think part of it was that, but I think that the large part of what I've heard from our followers and from what I've observed myself is that we have always been really authentic. And I've said this so many times, whether or not I truly believe that Instagram can tell the energy behind the post. And so if you're giving it your honest effort and you're putting, really representing our work in a way that is authentic and is not just like buy this or this, very advertising. I do believe people uh I mean, I know it because we have people that really love the info that we offer too. So it's not just a cute Instagram photo, but we really do want to teach people about the products in the herbs. I mean, that's not us, that's Mother Earth. We're using Mother Earth to create incredible products that make us feel better. But we also want to educate at the same time. We don't just want to say, "Oh, here's a face mask. Relax
Buy all
now."
the things and all the things.
Yeah,
Just do
yeah.
it.
See if that makes you better. Because that is what we've all seen our whole life is what so many people say about the toxic beauty industry or the toxic self-care industry. And we don't want to be that. We want to be an authentic, true self-care. We want you to take care of yourself because you know what you're doing and what you're putting on your body and exactly where it's coming from. It's not like, oh, here, put this patch on and you're gonna look younger now. We want you to interact with nature while you're caring for yourself, because I think that is really where true self-care happens, is when we're connecting to, Mother Earth and back to ourselves.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
I think I
that's
hope that
beautiful.
that's why people follow us, and that they can see, the efforts behind it, and why we do it. I hope that's it.
Yeah.
But
I
Instagram's a mystery.
yeah, that too, but I think it's beautiful because it's not everything that you're describing, it's not gimmicky. And I think it's
Mhm.
very difficult because you're also in an industry that many would argue is saturated, right? Like
Yeah.
if
Oh,
we
yeah.
sat here today and turned on the TV or I don't know, watched a YouTube thing and there's ads, like how many ads are related to beauty or wellness or
Mhm.
something, right?
Right.
And like if you just walked into like Ulta, Sephora, I don't know, even a beauty boutique that's more,
Mhm.
small business, it's overwhelming. You're
It
like,
is.
"I don't know what the heck is going on," I
Mhm.
mean, I heard this was good or, and there's so much research you're trying to do. I mean, anybody who is like an avid person in the space or a
Yeah.
newcomer to the space, it's equally, I think, sometimes
Oh,
overwhelming because
yeah.
there's just so much stuff. So,
Yeah.
what attracts people to brands, I do think, is that sense of authenticity when you know that it's
Yeah.
coming from, a good place and it's
Yeah.
something you truly believe in. Like you use it yourself. You're
Oh,
prideful
yeah.
of it, you know?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Mhm. I totally agree. I think it can be totally overwhelming. I mean, even for me, who's in the industry, the self-care industry, it can be overwhelming. Where are your concerns? Like, are these ingredients good for our skin, or are they bad for our skin later? Like, wait, what am I doing? What am I putting on? This
Why
is
do I have red
protecting me
dots
from the sun, but
all
maybe
over
causing
my
right.
face?
Right. So it's so confusing. And I think what happens is we don't know, so we just buy whatever we are drawn to. And before, maybe years ago, that would be in a Macy's or in a Nordstrom. But because we are all home and reflecting and watching and seeing, I mean, people, we'll live stream when we make a lot of our product. People like that. They love to see us make the candles. So do I. I love to see exactly. I mean,
I'm
there's nothing more
addicted to
magical
that.
than watching. Yeah,
Yes.
I love it. And knowing exactly where your product came from, who made it, the team that made it, the ingredients that are in it. I mean, I can't think of one product, that we have more than 8, 10 ingredients. There's nothing you can't pronounce. And if you can't pronounce it, it's because it's the Latin nomial of of a plant, you know what I mean?
Right.
So there's no octanite, you can read our labels, and I think and you can see what it's from. This is a helichrysum flower. This is Rassel clay. That's where your mask is coming from. It's not coming from like a billion ingredients that who knows what they mean. Like,
Yeah.
so
That is so
yeah,
true. It's terrifying. Like, we don't even know
yeah, I
what's in,
know,
like, a lot of, like, very, very, very,
I
very
know.
commercial products, you
I'm
know?
gonna get the numbers wrong, but I read something like I know these numbers are wrong, but it was shocking how many ingredients that France has banned to be sold anywhere, and they are all in our products. So,
Wow.
yeah, there's so much to know and so much to learn, and, yeah, so
Yeah, if
never
you had
ending.
to, because I really do believe that people like, yeah, I'm a perfect case study. I love trying new things. Like, I'm not
Mhm,
afraid. I do love certain things, and I'll always use them,
mhm,
but I'm always
mhm,
open just because it's like, why not? If this is something new and interesting and it's useful in some way, and like
mhm,
I love to try it, whether it's a soap or a facial cleanser or whatever. If you had to say like your top 2 to 3 things that are your favorite products
mhm.
that Lit Rituals has, like, what would you say those are?
Hands down, the first thing I mean, I was kind of, like, insinuating this mask is our helichrysum and hibiscus mask. Um, and
Hibiscus.
this one came from um, my co-founder's initial business, All Elements Apothecary, and it's a so yeah, I've had the pleasure of watching her make it, and it truly is just gorgeous flowers and clay and natural products blended up together, and it turns this beautiful like beet red when it comes in a powder base, and it turns this like beautiful beet red, and I take it all the way down to my chest. I love it. My skin feels soft, super like yeah, I'm obsessed with our masks. I vacillate back and forth because they're both so great. It's depending on like the season. Right now I'm doing the helichrysum one quite a bit. Whereas like I feel like in the summer I was doing more of the forest face clay. It's more cooling. But yeah, so my ones I can't live without probably helichrysum, our solar tea toques, and oh, our warm heart candle. I can't go a night without our warm heart candle almost. So those are probably my top three favorites. One, so the warm heart is a soy candle, wooden wick. It smells like star anise and vanilla. It's like a spicy, creamy vanilla scent. It's one of my favorites. And then Solar Tea Toques, which is an herbal cigarette, no weed, no tobacco, no nicotine, all natural products. Solar smokes, we have all different kinds of smokes, but solar specifically is great for kind of like an invigorating, uplifting, which is always the energy I'm trying to hang on to. So I love our solar smokes as well.
Oh my
I have
gosh.
to send you. I have to send you a goodie bag. I like.
Oh my
You have to try
gosh.
some
Like,
stuff.
I I have this, like, secret obsession with, like, masks. I don't know what it
Mhm.
is. I feel, and maybe it's just because I feel like as you get older, stuff's going on with your skin, right? It's like the
Oh
a
yeah,
whole aging process, and I'm not even
yeah.
worried. Like, I'm not worried about aging. Like, it's fine however
Well,
old I
you're
am. I
gorgeous.
just thank you.
Like,
I
yeah.
just
Why would you be
want
worried about aging? You look 22.
well, I'm totally 22, obviously.
Me
Um,
too. Don't look at my necklace with the year I was born on it.
right? I swear it's not 1980. No. Um, and like, but I do think about that, like you and I've appreciated as I get older, where I'm like, oh, well, you really do have to take care of your skin. Like, take your
Yeah,
makeup off at night. Yes, it's like you're really tired, but you gotta take it off. Like, moisturize your
I know.
skin. Like, it's dry. I mean, and I appreciate it a lot more. But I find that yes, when you find a great mask and you could tell the difference, like your skin feels
Mhm.
soft. It doesn't feel like
Yeah.
weird and dry. And also I
Mm.
notice because I travel a lot, the different climates do
Oh
weird
my
things to your, like especially drying your skin out.
yeah,
I
yeah.
don't like
Just
that.
even flying like strips my
Ugh.
skin, I
And
feel.
then
I
you're
think
in
you and I
recycled
probably it
air
sounds like we have similar skin type. I know. I know.
and it's
It's
gross.
so
And then
true.
now, of course, we're all
The
like
worst thing about go ahead,
pandemic
sorry.
cooties and like,
Mhm.
right?
I know.
We're like,
Makes it even worse.
don't touch
I
me.
know.
Don't look my
Don't
way.
look or touch me.
Don't look at
I
me.
know.
Bridesmaids, look away. No. Um, I just watched that the other day.
That's a good
Um,
one.
but that's why. So going back to what I was saying, I love that, like just the
Mhm,
feeling, because there's all this stuff touching on your skin, and you
mhm.
see it. Like, if you're somebody that has any kind of regimen, that has a skin routine morning and night, maybe even in the middle of the day, and you clean your face and you like use any little wipe it's not clean.
Yeah,
There is
yeah,
stuff on there. You need to
yeah,
get that
there is.
stuff
Yeah.
off. Ew,
I know.
ew.
You said it, you were like, it's so true, you do have to take care of your skin as you age. I never had I was very lucky when I was younger, and I thought, "Well, whatever." Like, I still hate the fact that you have to take your makeup off before bed. I hate that. I just think I always will, but you really feel it if you don't, though.
Yeah, well, because like, it's that late night, you're out having a good
Mhm.
time, the only thing you're thinking about is, like, hitting the
Yeah,
pillow, and you're like,
totally.
"Dang it. I know it's only a few minutes," but I've
It
had
feels like a
those
lot.
moments where I'm just like, "But oh, okay, fine,
I
I'll
know.
take off,"
I know.
whatever, you know?
I know. I know.
But it's just
So
it's so
true.
true. So yeah,
One
I am
second.
I am such a fan
Yeah.
of
Sorry. I
oh,
don't
no,
know.
no, no worries.
You're
There's,
good.
like, all kinds of crazy stuff happening over here. I'm like, "Oh gosh, sounds and distractions." Um,
That's
but
part of it.
I am such a fan of what you're doing because you take so much effort into the natural, element and
Thank
making
you.
it good for people. Um,
Thank you.
so
It
I
doesn't
w
have
I
to be
w
hard. It feels overwhelming, but it actually is easier,
yeah.
believe it or not.
So, again, for anyone listening, Lit Rituals, which is LITRITUALS, you can look it up on Instagram. The link to the website is there. You could see the different products that you can buy. Um, I just think it's so amazing. But I do want to ask you a couple questions so that my listeners can kind of get to know you before I let you
Of
go.
course.
Okay, so
Yeah.
my first question for you is, as we're in this new energy, because I know you're
Mhm.
about self-love and centeredness, and I'm all about that too, is, um, and I've been asking people, I've been saying it, is like, what is your word of intention for the year? So when we think about a new year in
Ooh,
2022, if you had to choose a word and you're like, "This is what I'm leaning into," like, what is that
yeah.
word?
I swear it came to me right away. I've been thinking about this a lot. Like there's a new year, so, I always kind of reevaluate. I think balance is the intentional word of 2022 for me because we talked about it. It's really as a business owner where you feel fulfilled in your job, it almost makes it easier to overextend yourself and which prevents other people from shining. So I think having my own personal balance in my work, but also in my personal life as well. So balance is the word for me. Check back in. See how I did.
Beautiful. Yeah, I know. I am gonna have to check back in with you. I'll be like in 30 days. I'm like, "How's that balance going, Christina?" Um, okay. What is one of the items that is on your bucket list for you to do in this lifetime?
um, that is such a good question. There's so many things. Um, I travel more. I mean, that's so vague, but take a really extended period of time where, maybe a year where I have like a start date and an end date and a continent, you know? Because I've done a little bit longer of traveling, like month and a half, and it was incredible to really like um immerse yourself in the culture and learn the area. But I only had a month and a half and I just thought this is a taste of something I want to have more of.
Oh
So
my
I don't
god.
know, pick a continent and a year and just like, you know, go all around, hopefully.
I also think that there's something I'm super passionate about travel too. There's something about how you grow in your perspective when you get out of your element and out of your comfort zone and just
Yeah,
go in the world.
it's so
I think it's
true.
just
It's
it's
unlike
incredible.
anything. So travel if you ever have the opportunity is my advice to anybody.
Yeah. Yeah. There's I need to look it up again because it was a while ago when I had seen it. There was some kind of thing I saw and it was like, I mean, it was a substantial amount of money, but I think in the grand scheme of things, I probably think it's worth it. It was like a 4-month cruise,
Yeah.
like
Oh
29
wow.
different countries or something like that.
Oh
So, like, if you
wow.
think about it, yeah, probably that's gonna be a lot of money. I don't know. I don't know if it was like
Yeah.
30 grand or something, but I mean,
Yeah.
granted, you're talking about like your food and your this and that. So I
Right.
don't know. I didn't do the math and if that's all worth it or whatnot, but
Yeah.
probably. probably. I
Yeah.
mean,
Probably
how
an
many
experience,
how
yeah.
quickly in a few months can you go to that many countries? Like,
I
I'm not sure
know.
if you have, like, a private jet or something. Um,
Yeah.
so, yeah, I mean, I think the more the better. So that'd be
Yeah.
amazing if you were able to go to a continent and, like, go to a bunch of different, countries there.
Yeah, I hope one day.
Wow, that's amazing. Okay, what is a self-limiting belief that you've had to overcome?
Oh. Well, I think that I didn't come from a business background, and I'm probably still in ways that I don't recognize still overcoming that. I think this last year and the experience of Lit Rituals and meeting so many business owners, I've learned that yeah, that is what it was a self-limiting belief. That's like all it was. So yeah, hopefully I'm still learning that, and but I think yeah, just because that I hadn't seen someone in my family do it, or be from a big business background, then that's a self-limiting belief.
That is a good one. I think that's
Yeah.
so many people can relate to, maybe growing up in a certain way,
Mhm.
therefore, this life is not gonna be me, and then you
Right.
suddenly find that that's crazy talk. Like, you could do
Yeah.
whatever you wanna
Yeah.
do, but,
Yeah, which is
you know
interesting because people who grow up that way, that maybe it does feel like limiting that you could do something bigger than you've seen. Those are probably the people that are most cut out for it because they've had to learn a lot, I'm sure. So,
Oh,
yeah,
100%.
sometimes
100%.
our self-limiting beliefs can be the reason we are so great at, you know, we get caught up, but that could be your strong suit, is that
Yeah,
you're not limited by a specific type of education, and you're not limited by what you think you should do. So,
yeah.
yeah.
Well, it's great because it actually brings me to my next question, which is, what is your superpower?
I think my superpower is that I don't give up. That's it. Like, it's not that I am very skilled at a specific skill. It's just that I will get fixated, and I just have to figure it out. So I think that's probably my superpower. Also,
I
like,
think
yeah, who knows? That could be
yeah.
tied into my ego as well, but whatever. It's working right now, so
I think that is probably one of the best superpowers because it's perseverance.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't matter if there's something that gets in the way. It's like, I can go over it, I can go around it, I can
Yeah.
move it. It's
Yeah,
not,
you can get through it. If you can get through it, everything will be fine.
yeah. Oh, that's so good. I love that one.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay, what is one last piece of advice that you would give for anybody listening right now? What's something that you would wanna leave with them?
I would say forget about all the if what you wanna do is something bigger than you think you are capable of, I would just forget about all of, the self-limiting beliefs or the, negative self-talk, because I think anyone can do anything. It's about putting in the time and the work and the research. So, I would try anything and everything you ever wanted to do.
Oh my
So,
gosh. Mic
yeah.
drop right there. I just
Thank
think it's
you.
great. It's so
Yeah,
true, Follow your dreams. Don't let anything stop you. That's
yeah.
major. It's so major.
My mom is
Um,
my mom is 65, and, she was a nurse her whole life, and, when she was, like, 63, she decided to become a yoga teacher, and she's doing it and loving it, and so I also have great examples like that, you know? Crazy
heck
women doing
yeah.
crazy things, and so that's also helpful to see that, yeah, you can do anything, even if
But
you wanna
you
start a whole new life and
we
become a yoga teacher at 65.
yeah, I mean, yeah, and there's those books, right? Like, I forgot the title, but it was like somebody who, you know, picked up their whole life and then moved to one of those South American countries, you know,
Yeah,
and just like started living a
yeah,
totally different life, and we're capable of reinvention at any moment, you know? I think
Yeah,
that's one thing that we have to get rid of is just this attachment to a particular identity because it's what you've
totally.
done.
Yeah, we're like, I from a young age, you're thinking, "Who am I? What am I gonna do?" It's like, you actually have no idea, so stop thinking about it and worrying
Yeah,
about it.
stop being ridiculous.
You know?
Don't
Yeah,
stress
but
too
I
much.
remember feeling that way, like, "Who am I? Like, what is my
Yeah,
job gonna be? What is my life gonna
yeah,
be like?" I still have no clue, like, we'll see, but
right? Yeah, like, I thought I was gonna, you know, be an Olympic hopeful when I was, like, jumping all around on all the furniture and stuff. I didn't get anything close to doing that, but it was
I
fun
was
to think
convinced
of
I was
as a
gonna be a
kid.
pop star.
Right? Oh my gosh. Um, but I think the most important question, Christina, is how can people follow you? How can they find the work that you're doing and keep up with you?
Yeah. Well, you can always, I mean, Lit Rituals, we're Lit Rituals on everything. Me personally, my Instagram handle is Christina Ellis, but the S is with a 5, so Christina, ELLI 5. But you can usually, if you find Lit Rituals, you'll usually find me too. So,
Amazing. Oh my
but yeah,
gosh.
litrituals.com.
My fellow Bay Arean, is that even a word? I feel like that's the first time I ever just said that. And I'm from the Bay Area. Hello. Um, but it's been such a pleasure. I This time has just gone by so fast. I'm grateful for learning from you about small business because I know it's a scary space, and I hope that anybody who's listening has been inspired by your story and just gives them the courage to know that they can do it too, and you don't have to have all the answers because you're going to learn along the way.
Yeah. Thank you so much for having me. I love your podcast. I'm honored to be here. You seem like you're doing amazing work. I mean, and if I'm ever out in Vegas, I will have to. I will be out in Vegas. So I will hit you up when I'm there.
Heck yeah. Are you
We can do
kidding me?
some face masks, self care slumber party, or something.
Hi. Need that mask in my life.
I know.
Yeah, that would be phenomenal. Absolutely reach out to me. I think it would be awesome to be able to connect and do some stuff in person and do a little collabo. Be
Yeah,
fun.
I'd love to. So fun.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much, Christina.
Thank you, Des. Have a great one.
Eskimo Des here, doing my reflection from today's episode with Christina Ellis, CEO and co founder of Lit Rituals. I say Eskimo. If you're not watching this on video, I do have a puffy, furry jacket on because it is cold in the winter. That is the thing about being in Vegas is you have the extremes of really, really hot and really, really cold being in a desert. But I had such a fun time connecting with Christina. I think her story is amazing. You know, there is nothing like the sitting, you know, at your kitchen table, in her case, shed, starting something that you're passionate about with, you know, another person that you care about, you being in it together from the beginning, in the trenches, and perfecting your product. It is so evident that she's got these amazing natural products. She's grown little by little by little, and now she's at a scale where she's able to just do more, impact more people, get her product out to more people. And so my encouragement today, the lesson for the day is you always start somewhere. Do not be in trepidation because you're starting out small, because your one customer will turn into 5, will turn into 100, and so forth and so on. You have to start somewhere. Don't be afraid to do that. You're going to learn along the way. There's going to be bumps and bruises and scrapes, but it's those bumps, bruises, and scrapes that build your resiliency. And I love how she talked about her superpower of not wanting to give up, to keep going, and you know, to keep that ambition, that drive, that grit. We all have that unbreakable spirit within us. That's what this whole podcast is about. If you haven't, you know, tuned in, there is a theme We are 53 episodes in now with this podcast. I'm so grateful that you're here supporting me along the journey. You know, you've been here episode after episode, hearing the incredible stories of the guests that I have from all walks of life, all different backgrounds. And that is it. There is a theme here. If you haven't realized it, we are born unbreakable. But it takes the strength, the tenacity, pushing ourselves, believing in ourselves, speaking to ourselves differently for us to be able to move in a forward direction with momentum, which, by the way, is my word for 2022. I know I've been talking about that and I haven't even actually said my word. So boom, there it is. If you were wondering, because I'm sure you just cared so much about what my word is. But, you know, with that, I know I've been talking about intention. You're going to hear that throughout the month of January, because I think it's an important opportunity for us to reflect, to set an intention, to live and lean into that intention, put it somewhere. You know, they've got those cool word of intention bracelets. You can put it on a necklace. You can, you know, I think it's like my word of intent or something like that. It's very affordable, you know. I mean, heck, if you don't want to spend money, write it on Post-it, stick it on your computer. I mean, just lean in, you know, lean in and change your mindset. Don't get bogged down in whatever shit you were dealing with in 2021. Don't carry that forward. You are here now. You are in a different time. You're in a different period. You're in a different energy. Carry that with you. To the people around you, your energy makes a difference. You can fuel and add to people and build them up and give them that burst of energy, or you can deplete them. Okay, we are like fuel or fire, and it's a choice. We can either fuel people's lives or we can burn them down with negative thoughts and negative talk. And I'm saying that to myself as well, because I am just here with all of you experiencing these same things where I have to check myself too. None of us are exempt. We have to do this together, and we have to do it in community. Thank you for being here. You know that I always say you are your only limit, so take action today. Please subscribe, rate and review if you haven't already, and tune in to the next episode of the Born Unbreakable podcast.